All right, you guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. This was the most intense curriculum I have ever prepped in my entire going on 4 years of homeschooling, multiple kids. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I prepped the All About Reading Level 1 for my daughter. I'm gonna sit down and walk you guys step by step through what I've done. All right, you guys, so first things first, binder size. Everyone who I saw a video who was prepping All About Reading said to get a 3.5-inch binder. I did that, but as you can see, like this is kind of obnoxiously sized. So there's a few reasons why I think that might be. I took a lot of their tips. I also took a lot of tips from the parent group that's on Facebook. So if you're not in there, you might want to join it just because it is helpful. But I also took it a few steps further. So one of those steps being is I laminated everything, and I will tell you guys why in a moment, but that could have caused, you know, the excess whatever width. And then I also put in, but I'm pretty sure all of the tips that I saw also said to add the phonogram and the word cards for each lesson to the page protectors. Now, jumping into why I decided to laminate it, my initial plan when I started prepping this curriculum, and you guys, I was so happy because, you know, when you buy a curriculum and you watch a ton of videos and that's what sold you on it, and then you keep watching videos because, you know, you're waiting for it to be shipped and you're so excited to get it. Well, that was me with this curriculum, and I'm so happy that I came across the All About Reading, how to prep videos, because if I had not done this prep, this would be a very short-lived curriculum in our home. If you guys have been around here for a little bit, you know that I love open and go. I don't love open prep and go. I don't want to spend, you know, and I'm guessing that this, depending on the lesson that you're on and how fast you work and your type of prep, you could have this done anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes every day. But with my personality, I don't have the patience for that. I don't want to do that. I want it either ready to go or we're moving on to something different. Just because I'm teaching multiple kids, I don't have time, and I don't want to make the time to do this every single day. So the fact that I came across those videos, I think, was the Lord saying, you're going to use this curriculum and it's going to be okay because you're going to prep it all at once prior to the year starting. So I'm really happy that I came across those videos. Now I will say, you don't have to prep. If you purchased All About Reading and you're starting to get those videos in your feed, then don't let them make you feel like you have to prep it. Only prep it, because this was literally, I'm not even kidding, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this was the most intense curriculum I have ever prepped, and you guys can see just how much work that was. This was not done in one day. This was done over the course of like 3 or 4 days, you know, hours at a time. So have a good podcast, a movie, a show you want to binge, something to keep your mind you know, going as you're cutting, because it's a lot. But you do not have to prep like this. You're not gonna do the curriculum wrong if you're prepping daily or anything like that. So I just wanna put that tip at the beginning of the video, because I know sometimes we can see other people's videos and how they're using a curriculum and what they're doing, and it can stir up a certain type of anxiety in us where we feel like we have to do it the same way, even though that way might not work for us. So I only did this because my personality, I would throw it out the window if I had to do it every single day. It would seriously drive me bonkers. But if you're the type of person who maybe you're only teaching one child, maybe you enjoy doing that daily prep work, maybe you want to work in scissor skills with your child and let them cut everything, then do what's best for you. You don't have to prep like this, okay? Just want that perfectly clear. So going into it, Now, one of the first things that I did was I laminated everything. I did this because my initial goal when I first bought this was that I was going to make photocopies of everything, so then when it came time for my toddler to use it, then I wouldn't have to invest more money, because you guys know I like things that are reusable. And so as I was opening up the activity guide, if you guys want to see an unboxing of this, by the way, I'll link it up here. But the curriculum basically comes with the teacher's guide. It comes with an activity guide. It comes with some readers and some flashcards. And then so you're going to want to make sure that you have an index box for the flashcards if you're choosing to use one. Now, as I was opening up the student guide, I was looking at it, and none of it's consumable. It's all reusable. And I loved that. So I got the brilliant idea of, instead of making photocopies, I would instead laminate everything. That way it lasts throughout the years. It lasts throughout, my kids scrunching things up, or water getting spilled, or pieces getting lost, and things like that. Now, I will say that if you're going to take that step, it is so much faster if you take some time putting every single sheet into a laminating sheet, and then going and laminating everything, and then just keeping it in a designated pile. Or even, I think Katie from Life in the Mundane, she mentioned you should have a big box that you can just keep everything in, so when you want to work on it, it's all right there. And it's also out of grasp of little hands, which came in very handy for working around my toddler. Now, where was I going with that? So if you have everything laminated before you start cutting and labeling, it makes the whole process so much faster. By the grace of God, my husband was like, do you want me to just rip everything out and stick them in the laminating sheets for you? And I was like, yes, please. So that was super helpful. Now, what I did was I got page protectors, and I labeled right here, it's probably hard to see, but it says lesson 8. So I labeled each lesson for on the page protector for everything that I was going to be putting into that protector. The next thing is I took whatever pages belonged to it, and if it didn't need to be cut, then I labeled the back with the number lesson. And then I put in all of the cut up pieces that go for that lesson, as well as the phonogram cards and the word cards. Now, if you want to save some sizes or some space in your binder, you can put them in the index card. I just figured this would be so much easier, like an easy and go approach. It would all be right where I need it when we get to that lesson. Now, some lessons are different, and it will just be, a few pieces. So like this is from lesson 7. And so I just put a 7 on the back of all of them. Some of them are upside down, so it's gonna look like weird 7s. But, and then, it'll come with like multiple pages like this. If you're laminating, you're gonna want either a good pair of scissors, or you're going to want one of those page cutters, because this is only going to fit in here if you cut the edges of your laminating sheets off. And then, so as you can see, I laminated the backs of everything. Oh, except for that. Oh no, it's in the middle. So I laminated the backs of everything, and I'm so grateful that I did this, because when I got to lesson 8, one of my kids, they wanted to check my progress, so they picked it up, and all the pieces fell out, and they were like, oh, and I was like, oh my gosh. And luckily, because I had labeled everything already, they knew exactly which page protector to put it back in, and it just, you guys, like, it saved my heart, because I wanted to cry when I saw everything just spill on the floor. Now, there will be some lessons that have these types of cards, and so like this card will be on one page, and then you'll have all of these additional letters that go on the page as well with it. So what I did, because in some lessons there's 3, in other lessons there's like 2 or 4. So since there's so many, and I figured that whatever letters went with it on the page would end up being together. I hope that's making sense. I labeled each one of these. So I did like 8, so for lesson 8, so I did 8A, 8B on the back, 8C, and then 8D. And then whatever letters went with those coordinating cards, I did the same thing on the back. So like that one's 8C, this one's 8A, 8C, 8B. So I did that just so, you know, as they get all jumbled up in the page protector, it would be easy to navigate what letters go with what cards, just so everything can stay organized and we can find it quickly the day of the lesson, instead of trying to put certain letters with the word cards and then it doesn't really make sense and things like that. Now, as far as any other tips, I would say have the parent guide on hand with you when you're prepping. I know that you might, you know, be thinking like, well, how do you know what all goes together? And so the parent guide is really nice because as you go through it, it breaks up each lesson. So like this one says lesson 1 and then what all will you need. So it tells you that for lesson 1 you're going to need phonogram cards 1 through 4. You're going to need the blast off to reading, which is basically the student activity guides, and you're going to need just page 9 from that. You're going to need word cards 1 through 3, and then you're going to need the progress chart. And the progress chart I'm just keeping at the back or the front of the binder. So it's easy to find and I always know where it is instead of constantly moving it. So it's really easy, and then as I was going through it, I was just flipping through to the different lessons. So then I could see, you know, what all will I need. So then lesson 2, it covers what all you'll need for that one. And so that's basically how I went through all of this and I organized it. I had the teacher's guide open, and whatever lesson I was currently cutting, there I was going through the teacher's guide to see what else I needed to add to it and making sure that I had all of the correct page numbers, especially because I had them laminated and so they were already ripped out of the book, and there was like once or twice where some got mixed up. And so it was really nice to have those page numbers to refer to, and then I could just look at the bottom and just ensure that I was cutting the right thing for the right lesson. Now there is also, like I mentioned, the lesson numbers up at the top of the pages. So before you even start cutting, you can also look at that as well. But I just found it helpful to have the teacher's guide on hand. So I think that that is everything. I will post a supply list of everything that you're going to need if you're going to prep it this way, just so you guys aren't like me, because when in the middle of prepping, I think I got to lesson 8 and I completely ran out of laminating sheets, and that was actually really nice because I had already been doing it for I think an hour and a half, and at that point, I was laminating and then cutting and labeling each lesson individually, and it was taking so long. And then when the new laminating sheets came in, I decided, okay, I'm gonna laminate everything and then we'll just cut and label once that's done. And that made it, I'm not gonna say it went fast, because it didn't, but it went faster than laminating, cutting, labeling, laminating, cutting, labeling. So I will put that supply list up just so you know how many laminating sheets to start with and what other materials you're going to need. I hope that this helps you. If you guys have used All About Reading and you have any additional tips that I did not mention here, please link that down below just so others who are watching can learn from your knowledge, and even I can learn from your knowledge, and we can hopefully help each other to be successful in this curriculum. If you liked any of these tips, then let me know that down below too, and don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and I will see you again later. Bye.